Yay Media Group.
Hello and welcome to There I Said It. I am Georgia Alfredas. He is Gary with a T. Hello, my dear.
Hi, dear Georgia. How are you?
We are missing 1/3 of the crew, but she is on her way. Tambra Cherie is running a little bit late. And we got started because we have a special guest today. Gary, you are looking quite preppy today.
Very Georgia, this is my Balenciaga sweater. You know, this is the new one that got the arms to it that you tie around.
But can you wear them?
No, it's made like a hoodie, but you tie it around your neck.
For what?
I mean, it's made like a hoodie. See?
But
and
why
it's
not?
Hoodie in the back.
Just
It's Balenciaga's latest. Google it.
Okay. Well, it's cute. I like it. Anyway, y'all want to see that? Of course, you can check us out on YouTube. I mean, actually, if you're listening on Spotify, I think you can watch it on Spotify. But wherever you get your podcast, we update new episodes every single Wednesday. We upload new episodes every single Wednesday. There, I said it. Go back, watch some old ones. We want you to comment on anything that Gary has said, not me, because I'm always kind and sweet. But always, if you have something that you want to say about Tambra, Cherie, or Gary, post your comments on our YouTube page. And hey, like us, do all the things on the podcast so that we can keep these podcasts coming. We have a special guest today.
Yeah, before we go to do we have anything we want to talk about before we go to that? Anything?
Why don't we add him in? Why don't we add him in to talk?
Oh, okay. Well, he don't know what to talk about.
Whatever's going on in the world.
Bring him up.
All right. Oh, there. Oh, he's there. He's
supposed to bring. Not yet. We're supposed to get an introduction.
Be like
Gary.
And he appeared. George Willborn. Why do you call you a stress reliever?
Also a magician, obviously, huh?
Obviously. But why are you the stress reliever?
I was coined that many years ago by people who I relieved their stress on the stage, and it kind of just stuck with me, over the years, and I tried to live up to it, every time I come out here,
So with laughter.
It is joy. Laughter, it's joy, it's being able to, just release and maybe laugh at some of the crazy stuff that I've done or I've experienced, so you can forget about some of the crazy stuff you've done or feel better about it anyway.
Yeah, or maybe some of the crazy stuff that's going on in the world.
Absolutely, except for you, Gary.
Yeah, I was going to say, honey, when you say stress reliever, for me, honey, I have lots of stress. And,
I knew you were going to be thinking of something else.
Now, Alfred, how could you say that? I'm just thinking of stress. When you think of stress relief, you go relax, relate, release.
Absolutely.
Relax, relate, release.
Yeah, not necessarily in that order, huh?
I would love
to. Gary, he is a guest.
That's right. I would love to have a stress reliever. Alfred, you don't want a stress, but you have want a stress
Listen,
reliever.
Gary,
like George
Gary,
Willborn,
everyone needs
makes you laugh.
Yes. Everyone needs that. Georgia knows that.
That's
Look, you
right.
got Georgia, you got Gary, you got me. Your producer name is Gary. It ain't nothing but a G thing. You know what I'm saying?
Baby, are you named after your dad, grandfather, and so on and so forth?
I'm
George,
sorry?
are you named after your dad and your grandfather? And all
I am. I'm named after my father. I'm actually the second. Some people call it, Junior. Since he wasn't in my life, God rest his soul. I never went by Junior. I always went by the second. I have my eldest son, George Willborn II, who just turned 27 yesterday, as a matter of fact.
And then I have a 27-year-old too named Tony George.
Oh, happy birthday.
Look at this. And then I have a 10-year-old.
My dad's name is also George.
Your dad's name is George?
And his father.
Wow. Look at this, Georgia. Georgia on my mind.
Yeah.
And I have a young son, 10 years old, Mason Noah.
No old ass names.
No, Mason is an old name, old young name though. So that's
is
my
Noah.
I'm sorry.
But Noah is as well. But all the new moms and dads are naming their kids Mason and Noah and George and Georgia. They're
How
back.
about that?
Cool.
Come on, we got it all covered.
Yeah, it's funny though, because one of my old coworkers' son name is Mason, and my nephew name is Noah. Golly,
Look at
that's
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's coming back.
Tamra's here, so we're going to bring Tamra on too, honey, George. We're going to bring little Miss Tamra on. Yes.
Hey, what's up, Tamra? How you doing?
I am good. How are you guys?
I'm fantastic. That number 6 can't get you nowhere on time, can it?
Love. I need what that means.
think it's about the train.
Damn,
Talking about a
you know,
train.
George,
Listen, I actually only met him once, and it's been years ago.
yes. Well,
So-
he's still
so-
here.
Talk to us about what you're doing. I know you got. I'm looking at our talking points here, and I see that you're headlining the City Winery in Atlanta. You really are a magician because I see that you're headlining in Atlanta on June. Oh no, it's June. Oh, you're headlining in Atlanta on June 18th, and then you're headlining in St. Louis on July 18th.
That's correct.
Oh,
Got
get the jam juice together, honey, please.
You, you know, in Chicago many years ago, I went to the semifinals in the cities of Riff. You remember that program, Riff?
Yeah,
Reading is
reading is fundamental.
So, talk to us about you. Tell us more about you. So, you're married or you're engaged?
I have been with I've been with my current mate for 12 years. I was married for 17 years. Got a divorce, so I had the proverbial start all over. My current lady and fiance is 20 years younger than I am, but you know, I know that's a big deal in society now. But fortunately for me, we had a very wonderful spiritual connection as long as we was equally yoked in some of our experiences, as she was a little bit more mature than your average 27-year-old at the time. So, you know, for me, it's been a wonderful wonderful journey, and sharing and having an experience and having a chance. I got a 10-year-old, like I said earlier, you know, so having that dynamic of having a 27-year-old and having a 10-year-old experiencing what I did, you know, being married as a young man myself, and then, you know, now having a relationship with a younger woman. It's all a part of the experience, all a part of what I talk about on stage, and it obviously keeps me youthful. It keeps me fun. It keeps me current about everything that's going on, from what me and Gary used to think about and party to, and to what, you know, the 30-year-olds are partying and listening to.
So, George, tell us this. All of us are in and was in radio. You know, Tamara does her show in Jackson, Mississippi. Alfreda's does the Ricky Smiley Morning Show now with us, you know, formerly from Russ Parr Show. And you did Michael Basin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us, so how did you get started in the radio and in your comedy? I mean, whichever one came first.
Well, comedy came first. Comedy came first, and all of the opportunities for me came afterwards. I started in Memphis years ago. In Memphis, Tennessee is where I started, and I kind of honed my craft on stage, doing shows in Mississippi, Tennessee, and Arkansas. Then I came home back to Chicago, and that's where Bernie Mac and I met, and at a club called the Cotton Club. Every Monday night was their open mic. And, you know, I happened to go into the club, and R. Kelly and his group and poets, all of that was on stage, but and Bernie was hosting, and I was waiting for the comedians to come on. I was like, hey, you know, finally I went up to him. I said, well, when do the comedians come on? He said, well, Holmes, you know, comedians don't come on. I said, why not? He said, because they don't want to follow me. I said, well, Negro, I'll follow you. Put my name on the list. So, I put my name on the list, and this was raw Bernie. This was Bernie standing on stage, and you had to walk past him to go into the club. So it's like shooting fish in a barrel, and he was just picking you off as people came through the door, you know. And so I went on after him, and after that, him and I became really close friends, and that thus began my comedy career in Chicago. And I ended up hosting All Jokes Aside, which was a very popular comedy club back in the day with Steve and Ricky. All of those guys came through that club. I was the host of that club. So I was fortunate to nurture a lot of and garner a lot of friendships and brother and sisterhoods, from Monique to Cheryl Underwood to all of the people I came up with in Chicago, and some other ones I ended up, you know, raising myself, you know. But radio came after that. So I never really asked for radio, but, you know, even though it's always been something that I did well, and I, you know, always brought myself to the table like I do to the comedy stage, and trying to relieve stress on radio is what allowed me to do stints with Michael Basin, and obviously with the great Doug Banks, and I've been on with, you know, Dee Dee McGuire. I've been on with John Mons. I've had a very, very illustrious radio career, fortunately for me, you know. and even currently, as of late, working with people like Frank Ski and Big Tigger. Radio is just something I've always have had a knack for doing, but I didn't necessarily pursue it. It pursued me. I hope it continues to as well.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. How do you test or how do you refine new material? Like, do you test it out on friends, family, on radio? How do you, if it's going, because when you're on the radio, you don't get to hear nobody laugh.
No, and you don't get a chance to test it, So fortunately for me, part of my craft and what I enjoy about honing my craft is what I call working without a net. And that's, being secure in whatever it is that thought process is coming and knowing whatever it is that you're about to say is going to be funny. Just like radio, it's not like television, or like a Zoom or anything. You don't know and have that instant gratification like I would if I'm on stage. You don't find out until the ratings come out or somebody now hit you up on social media about, oh, that was funny as hell what y'all did on Gary with the T. So it's a confidence level and a security level and knowing that, whatever it is, if I think it's funny, then trust me, you're going to think it's funny too.
So go ahead, Gary.
No, so working with all these people that you named, honey, Monique and Cedric and all these people like that. So comedy, do you think comedy is changing? Because, I mean, some of your fellow colleagues losing their minds, honey.
Wait a minute.
Some things.
Like who, Gary? Like who?
No names. So,
name names, Gary.
Yeah.
Come on.
And
If you got the tea, pour it. Now, what?
Yes, honey. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. But anyway,
we ain't trying to protect the innocent. We trying to expose the guilty.
Yes, Lord. So, honey, so it is different now. I mean, George. I mean, and my thing is, and I thought at one point y'all were a fraternity / sorority, but I mean, it's different. I mean, it seems kind of different now.
Listen, it depends on the, in my opinion, the era of comedian that you're speaking with. I'm a stand-up comic that came up with some of the names that I named earlier. Those are my friends. Those are my colleagues. I was raised by, my first OG was Sinbad, Ronaldo Ray, Rodney Winfield. Those were the people who raised me, and I learned and honed my craft and some of the ethics and the character that goes along with my craft. I was taught from those type of comedians. So that's what I passed on to the comedians who I had the opportunity to mentor or be a part of their career. And then my colleagues who held on to that concept, I still are friends to this day. And we still have that camaraderie and that brother and sisterhood, if you will, that you're speaking of. I mean, many people, and it's a thin line now. I mean, we all on social media, but now it's a thin line. I know where a lot of the bodies are buried. You know what I'm saying? And, just like you, Gary. But now social media, it's a thin line between sharing a story or an experience, between snitching or dry snitching, And so where I come from, coming up on somebody else's experience that you had an opportunity and pleasure to share with them. And now we're at a space where that you can monetize that with likes or with popularity. That's a thin line that comics like me are very careful about not crossing.
Well,
okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Tam.
No, he just mentioned that he's actually mentored a lot of younger comedians. Who are some of the comedians that you have actually mentored? Are there any younger comedians now that you see that's up and coming that you absolutely love?
Well, I love a lot of them, even though it's changed and concept of comedy has changed. We have different ways, so I've never had a problem with comedians that utilize and capitalize on social media and what have you. It's different from stand-up comedy, and it's a whole different process in order to hone that type of craft in comedy. But I had the pleasure of Chicago, which I think is one of the richest crops grown of stand-up comedians historically. So I've had the opportunity of working and seeing the likes of Deion Cole and Lil Rel and D. Ray Davis and Corey Holcomb. I was a part of all of that whole upbringing and seeing, to whatever degree had some tutelage where they had an opportunity to see comedians like me and Adele Givens and Cheryl Underwood, comedians who came before them, Bernie Mac, and they got a chance to see and rub elbows. So that's just to name a few. Fortunately for me, I had comics around the country that I've had that experience with as well.
Well, George, nowadays you tell one damn joke and you're a comedian. I mean, look at all these people, honey, on radio and stuff. They got all these overnight sensations that they did one joke, and hell, they got on radio shows. They doing radio and what have you. So as opposed to back in your day, y'all had to be comedians. And
yeah, we had to be good.
Yes, social media now got everybody a damn comedian, honey.
Well, that's the executive's fault, and those are the radio personalities. I'm not on right now, but you know what? You got to hire me as a radio personality that's coming to do some funny stuff. I'm coming to be on time. I'm coming to be professional. I'm not coming. I may not come with 2 million followers, but I'm coming with what I was taught and how to entertain people from a different level, Gary. And just like the promoters, ladies, you all know this to be true too. Now they'll go for the social media comedian who, yeah, you get him and you can see him and he's on stage, but he may not have nothing but 15 or 20 minutes of material because you're seeing him online, or you're seeing him in skits. And that's a whole nother art form than stand-up comedy and making me laugh for 45 minutes to an hour. And nowadays things are so jacked up, people really want to laugh for that whole time period now. That's our outlet for a lot of people. That's how they're going to relieve stress. Whether it's a stage play, you're going to go do that. You're not going to go crazy. Everybody can't afford a shrink, okay? But you can't afford to go line dance or get your boots on the ground or hit some comedy or whatever it is you need to do so you don't go crazy. So now people want to spend that and stretch that dollar and get real comedians that's going to make me laugh the whole time, opposed to somebody I can go online and go see and click on all of their skits or their material.
Well, tell me, so George, do you feel that the world, or should I say the comedy world, have been fair to you? Because you've been around for a while and, you're a legend in your own right. So, but I mean, all these people that's just popping up also, they're getting, honey, their own radio shows, their own TV shows, and all this other stuff. I mean,
well, I don't feel that anything that God has for me that He hasn't given me or He's not going to give me. Exactly. So my faith is in Him and not any man. And I always, over the years, have felt it better in my spirit how He made me to embrace and celebrate those, even if it's people who came long before me. I applaud them and I appreciate that because that's their time. And for me, I'll have my time. And until then, I'll continue to hone my craft. I'll continue to reach the people who I have been blessed to reach, in the 30 plus years that I've been doing it, and know and have confidence that when it's my time. My mentor, Rodney Winfield, used to tell me, he's like, George, don't worry. Everybody does your opening, including me. And then he said after that, he said, everybody gets a turn. He said it's about longevity and honing your craft. Chop, chop, chop. So I believe that.
Yeah. I agree. That's a good way to look at it. And it's really the only way to look at it, right? Otherwise you do go crazy.
I think so. You end up being bitter, or you end up not giving someone and praising someone who really deserves it, someone that you're glad that they have the opportunity. You're glad that their come up is here. I'm happy for Deion Cole. I'm happy for Lil Rel. Now he's making movies. I mean, I was happy for Bernie when we was coming up. I'm happy for my peers. And for those. So don't worry, my time is coming. If it's supposed to happen, it'll happen. Everybody. Yeah. If you know, then you know.
Yeah, and I hear that too, and I believe that too. Sometimes, and I tell.
Hey, I got a head full of hair. that I don't die. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got Beijing, Taiwan.
There.
Huh?
I said that's a good little streak you got there.
Hey, I got all my teeth, or I maybe two missing, but they all the way in the back. You can't tell.
That's good. Those are good teeth. Your parents got you some good braces. So let me ask you something.
Years ago when I met him, if I'm not mistaken, it was years ago because you were on the Michael Basin show, and and actually Michael Basin show was on our station. And I thought about this. If I'm not familiar, weren't you in a play? Like you used to do plays?
I did. I've done many.
You at a play.
Yes, I've done many stage plays. I've had the a pleasure of working with Thelma Hopkins and Jack A. Harry and Christopher Williams on stage plays. Actually, Thelma played my mother in a production years ago called The Cleanup Woman, I believe was the name of that play. So I've had the opportunity of doing. I did Chi-raq, and not that many people went and saw it, but maybe that's one that'll come back and register and people will pick up on it. But it was an incredible cast, and I got a chance to work aside of the incredible Angela Bassett with it, and Wesley Snipes, and just a slew of incredible talented artists. So I've had a part of and a glimpse of what I believe is yet to come, and I try to capitalize and I've tried to maximize all of those opportunities.
So politics, I want to ask you this because I do news and I have to talk about politics every day. Trump is in the news every day for something, and it drives me. I try to find other news, but if you don't say it, then it's like, oh, she missed this. You know what I mean? Like,
responsible.
There's so much news that's about Trump. I try to find other stuff to talk about. So as a comedian, is he like comedic gold, or are you tired of him too?
He is like the worst severe case of herpes that you cannot get rid of, no matter how much ointment and how many times you go to the physician. You just can't get rid of it. And that's the gift that keeps on giving. If you don't want to be, if you're not talking to an audience that's tapped out as well. So I, like you, I like to be informed, but like some of the major stuff. Other than that, you'll go crazy trying to follow every single thing. And the man that just, been the first 100 days. We just at the start of this. Yeah. And people are that stressed out. And, anytime you get, the tariffs, the economy, you've got these things that hit home to some degree to people, then yes, you have to talk about it, especially when you talk about the outrageousness of some of this stuff, ladies and Gary. I mean, to put terrorists in Antarctica, where 98% of the population are penguins, is just that's kind of like, I can't write that. I got a great comedic mind. He put terrorists on the penguins from Madagascar. This you can't write this. But those are some tough penguins, so he better watch out. They organize really well. So, and then all the executive orders, that people that didn't think, come on, some of the stuff, you're a journalist, some of the stuff you didn't even think, you couldn't think of yourself was going to come down.
It's
some insane. Of these executive, and it's the most stuff coming down. Watch what I'm telling you. I heard, don't tell nobody, because I know people.
Okay.
I heard executive orders coming. Ain't your mama going back on the pancake box? Ain't your mama, no more powder meals or common meals? No, we putting the active and the original ain't your mama. Not
no
the one
to this.
Oh, the one with the scarf.
Not that one with that sweaty ass scarf around her neck and the skin tags. She going back on the pancake box.
That's good, because I haven't bought pancakes since they took it off the damn box. So.
Wow.
Because I want to make sure I buy the right one.
Yeah. I hear Uncle Ben gonna join her ass too. They gonna dig his ass up, put Uncle Ben back up there.
Come on, dude. No. Y'all stop it.
People are. They better laugh to keep from crying. Is what I think. So yes, the material is never ending, but some of it is obviously very alarming as well. So yeah. I'd rather make jokes about it and laugh about it, so we can be less stressful about it than stressed about it.
Right. Yeah. Still be informed, but
absolutely
laugh about it.
Yeah. Of course. But especially if it's something you can't, you can't directly do. They're going back with color water fountains. You know that.
Yeah, I think it looked like that was seen or something was implied or something about that.
Yeah, but see, it ain't gonna be the signs. They're gonna be color monitor sensor, color sensor. So if you go up to it and you the wrong shade, the water won't come up.
You know what? Oh, that's cute.
No, that's so not true.
Oh my
That'll be
Yeah.
cute, baby.
That means you at the wrong water fountain. You
Water fountain,
got
honey.
you got to lighten up. You got to.
Well, but George, me and you couldn't do it. These two here, honey, their skin tone kind of, they could say they was tan.
They be all right. They'll be drinking. Hey, Georgia be drinking for days. He
Come
be
on,
like,
man. Don't do that. Don't do that.
My
Okay, you know
Lord.
what? I want to know what you think, your comedic mind, what you think about certain celebrities. Let's just go. Let's
Okay.
start with Kanye West.
um, a genius trapped in a lunatic's mind.
Yeah.
But
He
isn't that
from
always
your
how
hometown,
geniuses
too.
are?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that always
They
how, when
say.
you think of geniuses in the
Yes.
past?
He is a
Kinda.
genius / absolute lunatic by all means.
But George, I think too, some of the stuff that I think, he's going to, because sometimes people go through certain things when they want to come out. Because when he said he sucked his cousin's dick, that was one thing,
You didn't have to say it all
Then
like
he
that,
said-
Gary.
Oh,
You
well, I
had
had
to
to
do
say
all
it.
that.
And
You
then,
didn't have to do all that.
Look
You
at
could have
George.
just said, you didn't have
Well,
to.
that's what
George had
he
the
said.
precious pearls and he just
Oh,
had
my
it
God.
on.
But that's what he said. We have
His
to.
necklace.
He
His
said-
necklace.
he
Oh my
said-
God.
And he
Gary
said,
with
his,
the tape.
he said his mama was a lesbian.
Oh
And now
my.
he's saying he's gay. So I mean, something he really wants. I mean, some people go through a lot to come out, and he's going through a lot. So I mean,
Oh, Gary, you do bring out. I
You-
mean, even though you had to be so strong with it.
Hey, you had a chance to slip me some of these questions, Gary, but nevertheless, I do the best I can. I don't know if some of this is just him needing the mental help, because let's face it, people, some of us can afford the help that we need.
yeah,
Some
this
people
is mental
cannot.
health month, George.
I
Men's
know,
mental
but
health month.
that's why I'm bringing it up. That's why I'm bringing it up. And many people, regardless of if you're a fan of Kanye's or not, they have always questioned, even maybe as far back as to when his mom passed away, the mental state of the man, and I've always, because of who I am spiritually, I've always put that in the forefront or the back of my mind, and keep my artist where my artist is. I'm not trying to get Kanye to be my political or my spiritual leader. So I have a way of keeping the people where they need to be. My spiritual leaders, I expect a certain thing from them. My artists or my entertainment is in this category. But as a human, I try to respect and understand it could be something, and clearly, in our opinions, on the outside looking in, clearly something should be addressed that could have or should have been addressed by now.
Okay.
But he still dropped hella good music. So
Yeah.
Like you said, genius.
so do we want him to get well? Do we?
Oh, you think the music's gonna suffer?
I'm just saying. Be careful what you ask for.
Okay. Well, while we're on, what do you think about Diddy?
Well, that's slippery.
No kidding.
Okay.
That's slippery as baby oil. That's slippery as baby oil right there. I first of all, I have never been to a Diddy party. Let me say that.
Really?
All right.
No,
Okay.
I've been invited, but
Why
I
didn't you
never
go?
went.
Why didn't you go?
You
Heard? Like, why were you just?
I just
busy?
it wasn't my thing, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't my type of, even though I had friends that, that was their thing. I've always been, a guy from the south side of Chicago to kind of move a certain way, you know what I mean? And if I don't feel, comfortable about something, even if it's, got some floss involved with it, that's never been, the carrot that I go after, So fortunately for me, it aged well, but nevertheless, I think
Well,
Sure.
that's a slippery slope. But I heard they found that baby oil everywhere. You hear me?
Yes,
I heard it was everywhere, Gary.
we couldn't find. I tried to go to the store. Me and some of my good Judies, honey, and we like, girl, they out of damn baby.
It was out.
We got to lose jail.
Listen, they found it all because the FBI, they searched everywhere in the house. You know that though. They found it all up, but they went in the bathroom. The toilet, up the little ball where it is.
Stop it.
Baby all up under there. Yes.
No.
Yes.
It was in the
everywhere.
toilet.
It was in the toilet. They had if you go to the refrigerator with a
Y'all are
butter,
lying.
I'm telling you,
They said
with
when
a
you
butter,
flush the toilet, it hit you right there.
the baby oil come up.
Bye.
The baby oil come up. He had a
George,
baby oil fountain. Just a baby. You thought it was a water fountain. It was
Lies.
oil. It was baby oil.
But George,
Lies.
now here, George, this is a very serious question, and I mean, and y'all know. Shannon Sharp. That girl told him not to stick it in her booty, and he did without a condom.
Again, so strong.
Well,
there's
when we ask,
another way.
When you gonna break off my necklace?
well, we gotta ask the questions, Georgia.
Invisible pearls again.
Oh my God!
We gotta ask the questions. I mean, he's on our show.
Oh.
We got to ask the questions.
Listen.
Shannon, that's your friend. He's your football friend. Y'all all like football players. That girl told him, do not stick it in my booty unless you have a condom. So, George, why would a man do something like that? Help us out. We just
He shouldn't. He should not.
Lord.
Let me go on the record. If somebody tell you don't you put it in their booty, then you don't you put it in their booty a lot. You do not.
That's
you
right.
don't do it. Now,
That's right.
Shannon know better. He got Club Shay Shay. He got all these celebrity friends. He got them tight ass clothes he wear. He knew.
Yep. Tight clothes also factor in of him knowing better.
Yeah.
He had people like Monique and Kat trying to warn him, and they thinking he thinking the country ass something like joke, and it wasn't no damn jokes. And listen, I only had 2 white women in my whole life, and I was in my teenage years. You understand? And one I called the police on her because I got home, she was on my porch. So I ain't never
story.
You
lying.
Yeah.
He ain't lying.
Only to my whole life. So I'm not trying to. I'm not saying they ain't like me. I'm just saying I'm not trying to bring race into this, but on this day and age, I think all celebrities, especially on his level now, and especially when you got a platform where you're giving people information. You're giving people dating advice. You're giving people about how much you know based on your experience, then you shouldn't be falling in a trap seemingly as easily as the one that he fell in. And the one that's going to cost him probably quite a bit of the bag that he just made.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, we have to understand we have a heterosexual man on this show. We have to ask these questions because we need to get answers.
Well, how did we get to the penis in the booty part? How did I encourage that type of? Because as the heterosexual man.
Yeah, coming from me, they wouldn't understand. Coming from a hetero man, they would understand, honey. Yes. Sir.
Okay. All right. Okay, what about Beyonce and her new country album, her new Cowboy Carter, and what do you think about Beyonce and her? Because a lot of people are talking about her daughter, her youngest, who's coming on stage with her now. But what do you think of the whole thing?
I think it's phenomenal. I think we have to continue to uplift our Black women in every way we can, empower them, empower our Black girls, empower our Black teens. Yes. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's very responsible and incredibly brave of her and Jay-Z to put their children out where they can be in a world and a time that's just so critical of an infant, let alone someone who is growing up and maturing as a young adult like her children are. It's not like even when her and Destiny Child were coming up, it's light years away from where that is. The scrutiny is light years away from where that was even for her. So how courageous is that for her, for us to share that with us as the public, because she doesn't have to. So I think it's extremely brave. I think it's probably going to be something that we as a viewing audience get a chance to see, hopefully for years to come, as they graduate into a vision of their mom, who all of you most people anyway, love and admire and respect.
But George, do you think you think a certain age you should be exposed? Oh, no, you ain't got to clutch it.
Get ready, though. You got to get ready.
But
you never know.
A certain age a child should be exposed. Because, I mean, does she go to school? Do these kids go to school? Are they going to want to be like Michael Jackson?
The kids on Barney don't go to school.
Listen, I'm a big fan on mind your own business. Even though I know your job is to deal with the tea, because whatever I do in the house with my children, with my spouse, is my business. Even as a person that might be you, and you, all of you, Georgia. Look, Tamara, we are in the spotlight. We're out here with however many million, or hopefully millions and trillions of people watching us right now. But you still have the right to do whatever you need to do in your home without that being everyone's business unless you invite that in. So
But
it's
when
no
you
one's
bring it
business.
out, when I put it out there, once you see it, now it's out. So that
Yeah,
means
but you put a certain amount out, and then people pry in and everything else and say, "Oh, well, that she should take a titty out in public." Now, no one seen nobody did
Look
that.
at you being strong too. Look at you. Y'all just being real strong today.
girl, shut up. But anyway,
So I just think, Gary, you know this business. You know how it,
Oh, yeah.
you know how this goes. Ladies, you all know how this goes, and it's only getting worse and worse. So you got to be careful. But that woman has a lot of resources, and I think that for each person, you know your child, you know whether they can handle it, you know whether you can protect them from the predators and from the some of the disadvantages of putting them out there too soon. It's been well documented what happens to children, child stars, when put out there too soon. You see how some of them look as grown people right now. We ain't got to name names, but I know some of them. You know some of them, and crazy as fuck now. So you have to figure out for your own self what your child can handle and what they can't. But I mean, if anybody to trust is somebody who's been in the night in the limelight to the degree and to the level that family has, I would trust that they probably know what they're doing and have some safety measures in place.
Okay. Okay. Anybody got another person we want to ask him about?
Who are you about to say? You look like you stopped for a minute. Who are you about to say? Who's next?
I was about to say Jonathan Majors. And is it he married one of the most beautiful women, one of the most sought after women. Megan Good is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
But was it a stunt? Does he get his black card back? I mean,
did he ever have a black card?
I mean, I don't know. The man is from Oak Cliff, South Oak Cliff, which is, you've ever been there?
I have. But it's some uppity people over there in every ghetto. Every ghetto, you got a couple of families that had nothing to do with the streets. Jonathan don't look like he was on nobody gang bang club bus. Okay, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but once again, I think we have to, you got to read the room. Jonathan's been out there a long time. He knows what's going on. He's about in Hollywood, and he's had his pick of the litter, and they've had the pick of him for a long time. So how much how much did that black woman save his career? Probably a whole lot. But a lot of times black men, something like that happen to them, and they still don't learn their lesson. They still go and they'll double down. At least he was smart enough to go to a sister who apparently and looks like she genuinely loves him, and allowing us to see the blackest part of him that I have seen. And at least she ain't chasing his ass down the street and around cars and stuff.
Not right now.
I mean, she might be doing that at home, but at least she keep that. She probably whooping his ass at home, but at least she keeping it in the house. She ain't cussing his ass out all on the red carpet, but she's smacking him around though.
Well, George, honey, you know what? You are an intelligent young man, honey. You speak so intelligent. I would have never thought this, but. Most comedians, honey, they're comedians. They're not as intelligent as they.
That is so not true.
That's true.
Well, I've always heard the opposite. First of all, thank you for the compliment, and I will say.
You thought that was a compliment, but go ahead.
That was a compliment, George. George, don't listen to that tramp. That was a compliment.
That's kind.
That was a compliment.
He's so honest.
We know why they call you the stress reliever, for sure.
Yes.
You are needed. In this society, you are needed. I've always felt like laughter is good for the soul. Laughter is medicine. It is medicine.
Yeah. Tamara, it's funny that you say that because I've been doing this a long time, and I can honestly tell you, and I even tell people at my shows, that, a lot of times the reason and the way I can relieve stress the way that I do is that I've always went for the hard laugh. And the deep stress. I don't want to chuckle. He's hilarious. No, you're going to mess up some makeup. Some stuff going to be running. You're going to be looking crazy. But that's the type of laughter that does, I believe, releases that medicine kind of form in your life that, no matter what you're going through, if you're laughing hard enough, not that your problem's going to go away, but you're not going to you're not going to digest them the same. So I've been fortunate in that I do comedy like that on a regular basis, and that's my that's my formula. Because people, you don't never know. Everybody is not there because they want to laugh. Some people are there because they need to laugh, and so I try to cover both bases.
Well,
George, talking to you today, honey, is making me kind of want to be a stress reliever now. So I'm gonna have to go get.
I'm sure you are. And then that's the new. I'm sure you. I know you relieving a lot of stress, Gary. Now you there. Listen, you can see Gary walking all over the belt line. I don't tell you which belt line because I don't want y'all to kidnap.
That's right.
But I see him walking. I be out there walking my steps. I say, "Good morning, Gary." He say, "I say, how you doing, Gary?" He say, "Walking for Jesus," and he's talking about.
that sounds exactly like what he
That is
said.
him.
That's right, honey.
George, tell people where they can see you next. Tell us where they can follow you on social media and all the stuff.
Definitely. You can follow me at The Stress Reliever or The Stress Reliever on my IG. It's the same word depending on what school you went to. Just follow me there. You can also get some tickets, and I hope you come see me at the City Winery, where I'll be with the incredible and funny, as you talk about, comedians that I've had an impact influence on to some degree. Vanessa Fraction, she'll be with me at City Winery, opening for me on June 18th here in Atlanta, and it'll be July 18th in St. Louis. Her and I will be at the City Winery there as well. I'm working on some, finally some television and film things that I have been working on for the last 13 years that, are moving in the right direction, so, hopefully people will continue to know. I don't know me from social media, but they know me from years and years of doing stand-up and Def Jam and BET and radio, and I've done it, I believe, the right way. I'm going to continue, to do it the right way, and now with people, seeing more and more opportunities and more platforms. So thank you guys and ladies for allowing me, more people put eyeballs on you, and they'll know what some people already know, so I want you to pull up on me and follow me. And obviously I'm not I'm an old school comedian, so I'm not going to be doing all day on the, I don't do that. And I'm going to the refrigerator. I done ran out of toilet paper. I don't do all that.
All that shit.
But I will invite you into my world and show you what I'm doing and some of the things that I got coming up. So I appreciate you guys, and Gary and you all ladies. You have a wonderful platform. Please keep shining and doing what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you. And thank you for joining us on There I Said It. Y'all, we post new episodes every single Wednesday. So, if you have a comment that you want to leave for George Willborn on our YouTube page, or also on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcast, please do so. I'm sure he will be checking to see what you say, and so will we. We're going to read some of your comments next week. Thank you, George.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Georgia.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, Gary. Hey, Gary, is that the new sweater that pretend like it's choking the shit out you at the same time?
But nigga, this is a Balenciaga.
I know. It's the one.
I don't know if anybody in this screen could afford it.
Oh, listen, you ain't said nothing but a word. You right about that?
Listen, go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
That's all you, boo. That's all you.
Yes.
Or we'll wear it.
Well, I was gonna say I will give me a sweatshirt and tie it around my neck so fast.
Isn't that some shit? They tricked me out, but you see, but I still got my arms and I have my other arms. So this is the one that.
The real expensive one got the legs.
Wait, what?
Go to hell, George. Clink his ass.
Oh my God! Thank you so much. Thanks for being on the show.
See y'all later.